Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of What It Takes to Be a Rock Star. I'm your host, Mel, and this week I have the pleasure of chatting with Katy and Casey from the band Spoonbenders. And Spoonbenders is a really awesome band from Portland, Oregon. They are like heavy, psych, fuzzy, ripping solos, sick riffs. Really awesome band. Think like Black Sabbath type stuff. And I met them back in 2020 when my band Francie Moon did a West Coast tour, and we played with them at this pretty cool bar there on the West Coast up in Portland. And we chat about that a bit in this episode. We also chat because they're heading to Europe for the first time this year. So we were talking logistics and what they're planning on doing for that. They talk about how they got their van stolen a couple times. We talk about all different venues, the differences in playing different types of venues, and they've done a lot of really rad opening slots, so they have a lot of perspective on that life. So you get to hear about that. And anyway, yeah, if you enjoy this podcast, please hit subscribe, and you can watch this episode on YouTube if you're not watching it already on YouTube. um, but yeah, either way, enjoy. Okay, so let's begin. My first thing I just want to hear is like a quick rundown of like what each of you did in your lives that made you choose music. Like what happened? If there's like a moment in time when you were like a little kid or something where you were like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, you go first.
Uh, I guess there was never anything else for me, like as some kids are just like, I'm going to be an astronaut, and then they go to work the steel mill forever. Like
Hmm.
I was like, I grew up with a musician mom and a musician dad,
Hmm.
and so just seemed the most natural thing to do, and they were very supportive in that decision. Um, yeah, so
That's
just
cool.
ever since.
Yeah, I mean, your mom does like theater too, so it's like just entertainment in general,
Art, yeah, visual art,
art.
performing arts. She's a performing arts teacher,
Yeah. So,
Cool.
high school teacher.
yeah,
So she was
you were.
my high school teacher at some point. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Nice.
which
interesting.
is weird. But yeah, I never really deviated. I don't think I was always doing something within the very strict realm of music and art and visual art, entertainment, theater.
Yeah, I did not. I didn't do anything artistic for all of my childhood. I only started doing art when I moved to Portland. I'm from Northern California originally. And yeah, my family's not artistic. They're like get a job people. So I thought I was gonna get a job. And then I like went to college for science. So I was studying neuro and like trying to get into like what do I want to do? Not really knowing if I liked it or wondering if I liked it, just doing it. And then I became friends with the Spoonbender's first drummer. And I'd really wanted to play my whole life because had a lot of friends in high school that played all these dudes that I was friends with. And I was like, oh, like that's awesome. I'll do your merch. I'll be a part of it somehow. And that like made me super happy to be a part of it. And then never considered it to be a thing I could do. And then I met somebody and AJ was like, yeah, you can. And then I just started playing all the time and then like started a band out of it. So before I knew how to play, I like started Spoonbender. So it was like backwards. And then I just got really into visual art and love that. So it was like I'm a very late bloomer. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That's a cool story though.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
yeah. When did you first like touch a guitar? Was it in college or was it before
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I think I was 19. I'm
Okay,
20,
cool.
so
You're what? Sorry, cut
I'm
out.
27 now. So
Nice.
That flew by, but yeah.
And that's the year you started Spoon Benders when you were 19?
I would say I think I was 21
Okay.
because I was trying to be cool and like buy beer. I was freshly 21, so I bought beer, and AJ showed up and she's like, "I'm sober." And I remember that moment and being like, "I fucked it up. It's not gonna happen anymore." But it must have been 20 at that point.
Okay.
Great point.
Wow.
Yeah, insecure 21-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. I love how you're like, my family's like, get a job. And then now you have probably like 10 jobs. Like you were saying, you wear like
I
a million
know.
hats. You're like, not what? I don't want a job. I want 10.
So many jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you do the art for all the albums and stuff?
No, I like to find people for that. I've done a couple art projects, or like I've done a couple pieces of merch for Spoon Benders, and then Casey's an animator and does like sick art. So he does the tote bags that we have right now. And so like I've gotten a little bit more comfortable putting my own art on the Spoon Benders merch. At first I like felt weird about it for some reason. Like wearing your own band's merch can feel weird to some people. But now I'm kind of like, I just don't care about thinking that much into it at this point in my life, which is nice. So we have my friend in France did the first album cover that's like black and white and super crazy. Like his name's Etienne. And then this guy, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Mihalo, did the second album, and he's sick. He's from somewhere in Europe. But yeah, we don't do those ones yet. Maybe one day.
Okay. Yeah.
It's cool to spread that around though, like
Yeah.
to artists that we like or find, and yeah, it's not always.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about looking at all of it all the time at the merch booth if it was my art.
Yeah,
I don't think I would really like it as
there's
much.
that too. Yeah,
I would just be like looking at like how I could have done it differently or something. But
sure.
yeah, like, it's fun to collaborate with people outside of the band, and you don't get to do it as much. So
Yeah,
that's one avenue.
Yeah. How are the totes doing? Totes are like the best thing in the world, I feel like, on the merch table.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's nice for us, honestly, on the road because you just take bags. We started making socks. You need socks. And so you can just grab fresh socks if you're in need from it. Like it's kind of nice just for us, even.
yeah. You can get away with the socks, not so much wearing your own shirts anymore, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they're not, nothing would stop me because I just really need socks.
it's true.
So,
It's better than taking mine
yeah. Yeah.
or anyone's. For that
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. Or like good luck finding like being able to do laundry on tour, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like a godsend when you can, but like being able to properly dry your clothes on tour is not common. Like it's like not enough time to get your shit dry. The dryer sucks. So then you just have like wet clothes for a week, and that's worse than dirty clothes.
Yeah.
So it's hard, man.
Yeah, I know. I want to ask you a little bit more about that in a second, but Casey, what other bands were you in before you joined Spoonbenders? Because I know you joined not too long ago, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a very long time ago. When was it? July, June, something
I mean, you had
of
a soft
2024.
join.
I had a soft join, let's call it.
He
Yeah.
was like doing shows with us like a year ago.
I was
Okay,
like
cool.
an auxiliary random. I would come out for like the record release to play all the Mellotron parts, and I was just crouching in a gimp suit behind the amps.
Nice.
And then like peeking my head out and going back in. Like it was
theater.
It was so soft. Such a soft joining. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then he'd come out and do like the song like solo with Leo, and like there was like projections, like liquid projections, and he was wearing an all white suit, so he's just like totally terrifying and fucking weird looking.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was
And
great.
worse underneath actually was that I was just soaked in sweat
Oh yeah.
from like crouching and yeah, just
Not
hideous,
breathing.
hideous oxygen deprived creature
Yeah.
on stage. But
That was
okay,
cool.
but then the projects before, I guess, is what you're asking more is I was in this band Meat Bodies, and I toured with this guy Michael Cronin in LA, and I toured with my brother's project, Corey Hanson. And besides that, the current Spoonbender's drummer and I, Mike, had a project called Board Checker, where it was just a two-piece screaming weird technical,
Super, super fucking cool.
super bizarre
Cool.
metal band.
Just
Yeah.
really heady.
Yeah.
Cool. I
It was
like that.
awesome. And then
Wasn't
3D pop.
Oh, and of course, I think I'm allowed to talk about this now. There was
Oh, right.
there was a period
Yeah.
in time where we were like pretending we weren't a ZZ Top cover band that was opening up for ourselves
Him
on
and his
tour,
brother.
me and my brother. But it especially didn't go over like 100% in Europe or something where they're just like, this is very strange, campy band came out before wearing fake beard.
Yeah, it's an American thing for
And
sure.
they actually could not draw the connection that it was us, which is very
Oh,
funny.
that's
But
amazing.
but in America, it was just a very funny thing. We would open up for ourselves as a ZZ Top cover band, and I played bass in that
Really good.
and sang
It's
along
on
with it.
YouTube.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah, go
gosh.
look up 3Z Top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay. I
you want to.
will.
super good.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. And actually, I was on tour in the band Theater in Europe in uh October, and our driver and the two guys in our band, Rye, my boyfriend, who was playing drums, and Vrom, who was playing guitar, they like this band canceled one day, and so they just started this like fake band called like
Sick.
the Gentleman's Store, and like just did this crazy noise set, and Rob like put pants on his arms and was just like
Yeah.
screaming, and like they were just making crazy noise, and people were very confused, but also like, okay, what's this new band?
Yeah, yeah.
Really fun to do
So
that stuff.
invested in such an honest way sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they get love
Yeah.
Europe.
Super validating.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
comedy the comedy goes right over their heads, I think, a lot of the time, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Has Benders done a Europe tour yet?
No, our first one is this year.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was
Other
gonna
thing.
ask.
This
Because
next year. Yeah.
this next year, yeah, 2025.
Yeah.
Amazing. Because I was gonna ask. Because talk about clothes not drying. That's like the worst place in the world to do laundry. Yes, I said it. Screw you,
Great.
Europe. It's like no one has a dryer and everyone just hangs their clothes out to dry, but then a lot of places just
Um,
raining every day. So like
Yeah.
to get a dryer on tour is like the nicest thing ever, but it might take like 8 hours for your clothes to dry. So just be
yeah.
prepared to just use all your Spoonbender socks on that tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about climate, I think. If you go to UK, they have some decent dryers. And then maybe like northern Germany or something. It's like where it rains so much
They don't have any. Oh, and
and
they
they
do have
would.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to like watch out for climate if you're like in
Hmm.
a. But yeah, a lot of places, yeah, you don't find like good washing, drying, anything. It's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna have. I'm just, there's a point where you just go for it. Just clean your underwear. That's it.
Hmm.
You just wear your shirts. I
Hmm.
don't sweat that much, so I don't feel that disgusting saying that, but like I'm sure I know that there's musicians out there that are just like covered in sweat, or like if I were a drummer, it would be different.
Hmm.
But I just sink wash a lot of the time, but it's gonna be interesting.
I feel like this whole podcast could just be about doing laundry on tour.
It's
Honest.
it's
There's
fucking hard.
I think yeah, it's very stressful, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of ways around it too. It's
Mm-hmm.
like just having show clothes and
Mm-hmm.
then the rest,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was an important find for me personally, where I could just like zip up my sweaty show clothes into a bag,
Right, that is your
and
move.
then nobody has to smell or see or hear what's going on in there.
Yeah,
Here, especially.
yeah. No, that's a good idea. Yeah, I always remember to bring like a bag of that's designated for gross shit.
Yeah,
We're just gonna get everything.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, I'm excited to go. I'm excited to see Europe, and I've only been to the UK. I've been a few different countries in Europe before, but I was young. But the UK is where like my family is from, and my mom's side is all over there. So I know like three places really well there, but I never really experienced like London because my family like we can't afford to go to London.
Yeah.
So I'll see the big city,
Big town.
you know, expand my horizons finally.
Yeah, where's the tour going? UK and where else?
We don't know.
We're waiting for summer dates.
I think it's a lot of France, and
Yeah,
it's what got announced so far is Portugal.
I think
Cool.
Portugal is going to be where we start. I don't know if that's true.
Or end.
Okay.
Or end.
It's a good
Okay.
starting or end place.
I think it's the cheapest place to fly in.
Okay.
I've heard that rumor.
There's well, I've heard Germany, but I don't know.
Okay.
I've never
Yeah.
booked them myself because I'm lucky, but
Yeah, right.
you'll figure it out. You'll be like, dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who you have a booker over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get that? Because you like haven't even been over there. Like how'd you find your booker? How'd they find you?
Casey's been on a bunch of tours with them already.
Yeah, kind of since my first European tours. He's been like at least peripherally involved
Cool.
with everything. He's with this agency U-Turn, and I think he at some point was partnered up with like a Dutch guy, and then he was the French guy.
Mm.
And so, you know, because as you're working between different countries, they all have their different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And now he's on his own. The other guy has passed away on.
Oh,
And Buzz is
he's
killing
passed
it.
away.
Buzz is still kicking.
Okay, he's
Yeah.
around. Okay, good.
He's still working. And so yeah, but he handles like mostly France and yeah, a little bit of Germany, UK. So probably that, I'm guessing. But yeah,
Okay.
I've known this guy forever, and he's like a punk rock dude.
He's a
like
pirate.
he's an old school dude.
Yeah.
Love him. Love Buzz.
Yeah, he seems really cool.
Cool.
He doesn't really speak English, but he seems really, really cool.
He speaks English. He's had like he's had some medical problems, so he's hard to understand
His
in French.
emails is all I mean.
Well, that's common when it's just like a language barrier thing,
Totally.
too.
Yeah.
'Cause,
But you
like-
can get that he's chill through it. He's just like, whatever, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. Love
Yeah.
that guy.
Have you all thought, like, I know it's not all completely booked yet, but have you thought about like how you're gonna do it? Are you gonna rent a car? I met a band recently that was doing it all on a train. Like, have you thought about
Whoa.
logistics yet?
Okay, that'd be awesome. We're gonna do a minivan, I think, or a van of some sort.
Yeah. The rental agency I usually end up going through with is like kind of paired with our booker. He has this relationship with this Amsterdam based agency, and they usually handle transportation, light merch, gear,
Is
you
it
know,
smooth?
backline. Yeah, smooth.
Smooth.
Backline rental.
Yeah. I'm down
That's
with it.
amazing. I love the package deal things in Europe. Like we use, we have a guy that we use for Gustav and for Theater, and yeah, he has everything, the van, and he'll pick up the back line and grab you from the airport, and it's really
so good.
nice. Yeah.
Just go away, give it to someone else.
Yeah.
That's someone's problem.
Yeah.
Do you guys do a driver?
Yeah, he does everything. It's
Okay.
our friend now. His name's Alex, and he has a van, and yeah, he'll like drive, do like tour managing kind of, but that's all. That's like just in Europe. Usually when we're in the US, we're alone, unless actually when we fly into Seattle now. We use our friend Dylan from Weep Wave. Do you know him?
I know that band.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I know him.
Yeah, for some reason, like a million times we'd show up to Seattle and like just have to fly in and like not have any equipment or anything. And one time he just offered and he was like, I have a van, I have equipment. And this last US tour we did, we opened up for the band Dead and they Dylan drove us all the way to Chicago, which is the farthest he's taken us.
Whoa,
Yeah, Seattle to Chicago and then he dropped us off and then he drove all the way back with his
what?
van and drums.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Dylan.
Yeah,
badass.
That's so nice.
I know. I know. He
Cool.
even picked us up in LA because we had like a last minute booking in LA before the Seattle tour started. So it just worked out really well because he was just ending a tour in LA.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But he wasn't even supposed to be there. He was supposed to, it was just a big long story. But that leads me to what are you doing for a van right now? Do you have a van
Oh,
or do
we
you
got
rent?
so many bands.
Too many.
Don't worry about it.
How many
Got
vans?
this covered.
We have two. We have two
We
bands,
got Donna and we got Reba.
and they're like both great, but we don't need both. So
Yeah,
we're trying to get rid of one.
we're trying to
Okay.
downsize the Spoonbender fleet
Yeah,
down to one
it
van.
wasn't intentional to have a fucking fleet all of a sudden, but yeah. I just like we was doing so much touring and like you just get weird when you tour and you make these decisions. You make these, like really like quick decisions of like I need to keep touring and I gotta make sure we can keep touring and have 5 bands. It just got it's been a long year. Yeah.
Wow. Too many vans equals
Yeah,
too many problems.
for
Probably.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. I was gonna ask because I remember like back in the day, I don't know, we met in like 2019 or 2020 or something, I feel like. But
Let's
since
try
then,
to
yeah, I think we did like a Francie Moon Spoonbender show. Is it the Farkin? Is that what it's called?
Whoa,
Yeah, I
we
know.
should get working together.
The Firkin. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
know.
know. That's when I
I was
first
like
saw you.
thinking, funny, how did I meet Mel? I don't remember
Yeah.
meeting Mel, but I've known Mel
Was
forever.
it the first show or?
It
Yeah.
was not our first show, but it was close to our first show. Like we hadn't
Oh,
been for barely
I
even a year.
can't believe that because you all were awesome. And I was like, it was one of my favorite shows of that tour because I was like, this is so
Oh.
cool. Like, and I remember people being there and just the vibes were good.
Yeah, the Firkin is reliable vibes for sure.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Was that there?
But
I don't
I
know.
might have been there. I don't
There's
know.
also an add to this story that he might have just been there on his own.
like
Yeah.
Where
playing in the background, the
just
synth
like
parts. Not
No, I'm from LA originally. I was in town for like Zine Fest and I just happened to be at your show.
years before we met.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because I
ages.
wow.
met through a Meat Bodies tour that Spoonbenders was on.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it was at the Firkin Tavern. I remember that. So kind of whatever. Maybe I was there. I don't know.
Ships in the night, dude.
Ships in the night.
Yeah.
All are meeting again.
Oh, yeah. My whole purpose of bringing that up though is because I've been following, I think, the Instagram since then, and that's well, geez, almost like 5 years later. But I feel like I've seen multiple times on your Instagram, like, oh no, our van was stolen again or something
Yes.
Yeah.
that
Which is
happened.
funny, like I'm waiting for one of ours to get stolen and it's not
Please.
happening.
Yeah.
Please.
Like
No.
get it out of here. Yeah, there was a funny year in Portland where there was a like catalytic converter theft ring that happened. Ended up being ran by a really rich dude. It was totally way more interesting than I thought it was gonna be when they caught all these people. It was like a movie. So it was
Uh,
just a rich guy that like hired all these dudes to just have this like complicated ring of stealing catalytic converters for this special metal that's in there. And 16 passenger vans often have two catalytic converters, so they really like those. So everyone's vans were getting stolen. And I got mine stolen out of the first time it got stolen out of the mechanic's office when we were getting it just checked. And then it got stolen the day after I got it back
The same one.
from my house.
No. Are
Totally
you?
across town.
Oh my gosh.
And the only thing that sucks about this is that like it's so unbelievable that the insurance companies are like, fuck you, like not you're full of shit, you're lying, you set this up or something. So you
Gosh.
do need to convince them. And even to this day when I get insurance, they're like, it seems like these were really unlikely that they happened so close together. And I had to explain, I'm like, you can look up this article, like it's real. But yeah, everyone in Portland just had their, I mean, it's still a thing, but not
Less of
nearly as much because it's illegal to sell them now and like use catalytic converters. But yeah, it's a crazy year.
Whoa. Yeah, I've heard people stealing catalytic converters, but not like just stealing the whole van, for
Yeah.
the catalytic converter.
Well, yeah, they stole the whole van, and then we got it back. The dog's back from daycare right now, so it's gonna be loud.
Okay.
Really excited. Um, so yeah, they like stole the van and there wasn't even any damage. A lot of people steal vans in Portland to live in them because it's cold.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they just kind of ripped up. Oh yeah. Also, dude, I found the van. I found out about it having been found because some vigilante recorded a guy steal or like trying to cut off the catalytic converter and then it went on Fox News. And then
Whoa.
I got tagged in that being like, isn't this your van? And it was on Fox News and they were like, oh, the like Portland's full of psycho hipsters or like whatever, which was just funny because the people owning it were stupid musicians that they don't probably like either. Uh,
Yeah.
it was such a weird month. It was just a month in my life that was just completely out of a movie.
Yeah. That sounds
Yeah, so
wild.
definitely like that part of being in a band, like what was it? I didn't get prepared for that part.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know I've never seen someone's Instagram so full of van drama as yours. But that area is like, really bad. Like I know just down the West Coast, that's where I see the most like GoFundMe's and stuff for people getting their gear stolen. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
the band, um, super cool band, and I'm not remembering their name. Uh, cool band name too. They were just playing KEXP in Seattle, and they got their stuff stolen, like their whole van. And they are from, I think,
Chicago.
around Chicago. Yeah, do you remember the band's name? It was a cool band. Um,
Here, yeah.
We'll
uh,
all remember in a month.
but yeah, they got completely screwed and they all had to like fly home and like
Oh.
or rent a U-Haul home and it's just so sad because the thing is that it's just gonna discourage people to play the Pacific Northwest.
Hmm.
And there was a really cool scene here and it's super worth playing. I
Wow.
just not if you're gonna get your shit stolen. It's just
Hmm.
yeah, it's not fun. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you have or do you bring all your stuff inside at night or like if you were playing, I don't know, Northern Cali somewhere, like what would you bring inside at night? Would you leave drums in the van or would you bring all the guitars or what do you do?
It depends. So one of the vans is like decked for that. It has like bars on the windows.
Got a roll
It's got a
cage.
roll cage.
Oh, cool.
It's got a kill switch. So it's like you're not getting in there or away from there.
Yeah, all the windows are like barred and tinted, so
So in that case, we were kind of a little more relaxed with what we were leaving behind,
yeah.
but I just out of habit always take in my thing. You know,
Hmm.
I won't take in pedals or amps or whatever, but I'll Like if we're going into a hotel or a friend's house or whatever, I'll take my guitar, bass, my thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start taking I've never owned nice gear. I've always had really bad gear. Never really worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just played what I was like, I worked at guitar stores and like if you get a bonus, like they'll be like, pick a guitar. And you just kind of grab like the cheap guitar.
Yeah.
But I recently got a guitar that I actually really like. Spent a lot of money on it. That's a lot of money that I would consider as a lot. So I'm gonna start bringing mine in for sure.
Nice.
I would never bring my amp. I love my amp, but it is
100
probably
pounds.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a 110 or it's a 112 and it is like 100 pounds. So it's just not worth. It would be like the Vans price in like chiropractic work. Like it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think like no, I have a Fender DeVille. It's definitely not 100 pounds, but like I'm always like, no one wants to carry that anywhere. Yeah. Like, um, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering because yeah, some people they like won't even stay in town anymore. Whoa, what is that? Did you see that?
No.
Oh, it just did like a thought bubble with a thumbs up over
Oh,
Casey's face.
I might have
Oh,
done.
Oh,
it
is
constantly
that a
is doing
thing?
that
Oh my
lately.
gosh.
It is a thing, yeah. You're
Oh, I never.
you're opening up a whole can of worms here.
Yeah.
I've never
Because
seen
it
that.
picks up like different. Well, yeah, it's
I've never ever seen that. That was so bizarre. Okay.
They're getting too smart, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. All right. Anyway, I want to ask about like I know you've been playing like really really cool looking shows the past couple years. Um a lot of like opening slots. What is something either of you can answer this? Like what's something that like kind of surprised you when you started getting into doing these like bigger shows in your lives like that was interesting to you or that you were like, whoa, that's crazy that you might have not have known when you first started playing music, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, it does. It's a good question.
I
Yeah, you
I
go
I
ahead.
was surprised by the like how very sterile a lot of the like big venues feel.
Mm-hmm.
I love small clubs. I love bars. I feel like I'm like a bar band guy in a way. And so when I, you know, opened for like bigger projects or whatever, and they're like in these what 3,000 cap rooms or something
Yeah.
or bigger. And it's just suddenly like the staff they look at you different and everything is like so clean and you get up there and the mix is weird and super like eerie how you can just hear and feel like nothing. You're just like in a void,
Mm-hmm.
sterile, weird, hollow space. And
Yeah.
I think it really translates in a funny way to the audience too, which is like a whole other can of worms, I think. Speaking about that or speaking on that, but what did you think?
Um, I think I think I agree with you. I think that I really like, well, I'll say that like if we're on a really, really long tour and we're playing bigger festivals, it's awesome, or bigger venues, it's awesome because they do feed you and they do give you a green room like every time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna go crazy as quickly. Like you can actually have a moment, which is really crazy. That to have a room to yourself, even for 10 minutes on tour, is not at all common. And so it's cool. It's wonderful. And it can be like a lifesaver. And you can spread out because we do this thing where we like paint our vinyl, paint the covers with like little paint pens. And you can do little things like that and like spread out and like you could reorganize your merch and just get settled for a second. So I love big venues for that, but I also have had a hard time feeling super far away from my bandmates because the stages are big and my audience. Um, it's hard to like when you're playing music and you also have a band that's like very dancey or like engaging and when people aren't moving, that's unusual. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's if you're moving and it takes a while because you're opening for a band that is larger and these people don't know you, they don't know how to figure you out yet
Yeah,
until
win them
like
over.
halfway through the set or
Yeah.
maybe less, but they
Mm-hmm.
are stoic and you are not. And it feels weird.
Yeah.
Um, and then, they get into it and you feel good, or sometimes they don't, and then it's just really weird. But I think though, and then I actually started using the showers that larger venues have. That's a big
Nice.
one.
Yeah,
Laundry.
yeah.
And if they have laundry, that's also a
The
thing.
amenities
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
are interesting. It's an interesting change of pace. Yeah.
Yeah. But now that they're getting eaten by like Live Nation, and you just walk in and you know that this is a Live Nation venue. It's not our tour, it's none of our business, but it sucks to be a part of Live Nation because they're gonna cut your merch. They're gonna be, they're not the staff is nice. The staff works at the venue, but it's like the actual institution is predatory on the music scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that that's happening. I hate that they're creating a monopoly and I hate playing in those spaces knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just kind of, I mean, like, what are we supposed to do? There's nothing we can do. We
Mm-hmm.
have to, we are the smallest on the totem pole. We're just trying to make the art, and they're the ones that have the say in how the art is given to people. So
Mm-hmm.
that bums me out. I'll get halfway through a tour and I'll just start ranting about merch cuts, about the industry.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
this is the spot. This is the spot to rant whatever you want to get out. Like the whole point of this podcast is like for people to really understand that the musicians are like on the bottom of the choices being made a lot of times. Like I've been seeing a lot of like, oh, these musicians with their crazy ticket sales, like just put your foot down and like, do what so and so did in the 90s and say I'm never playing those venues, but like all the other venues are getting eaten up, you
yeah,
know? And it's like we're just trying to play, we're just trying to put on a show and it's like what do you want us to do? It's really it feels like you kind of don't have a lot of control sometimes over that kind of thing or if you like say no, I'm not going to like do this or play these Live Nation venues then like any other band in the world would be like I'll do it and I'll do it for
yeah,
$100 less or $500 less or whatever. So like, yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't blame them for it either because it's really hard to make any money in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think it comes down to our decision whether or not to play these venues. I
No.
think we're just trying to ilk out a living in a way. And and a lot of the time we're just trying to like plot our way back home or to the show that we, planned on playing in the first place. And it's like, how do
Yeah.
we make this worth our while? And it's very much not a yeah. I think it goes down to like the people who show up,
Yeah.
really, in a way.
Yeah, I think, everybody's voting with their money in a way, but you don't want we get signed up to do like a support tour. We're playing Live Nation, some Live Nation venues, and you don't want to discourage anybody to buy the ticket, but you do want to say like you should be going to local shows as much as humanly possible. They probably think, say like on the psychedelic porn crumpets tour that we did. The idea that people got because that band's doing so good and they didn't know that they were doing so good in the US. So it was wonderful to see them be like, wait, this is we're from Australia. We had no idea that people liked our music this much. But people thought that we were all just making so much money. And I've had that was the first time that I've had questions like, what is it like having all of this money? Like, what is it like in a bus and like having no problems and being awesome? I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so crazy that you would think that.
If you want to know what it's like to have all this money and to be awesome and to not have any problems at all, you gotta get yourself some sorry cables. Because they're the greatest cables on the planet and they don't break. At least mine haven't broken. And so you can save your money on not spending money on new cables. I used to have to buy new cables all the time, and honestly, since I got these sorry cables, I haven't had to buy new cables. I'm not even just saying that because they're sponsoring today's episode, but honestly, they're super quality cables. They're colorful, they're beautiful, they're awesome, they're made with love. So if you want to get some sorry cables of your own, check them out at sorrycables.com.
And if we, on the Portugal the Man run, that was even funnier because they thought our van was catering. Like they didn't know, like, and
Yeah, we're the help.
yeah, we're just, and we are like in a way it's just like entertainment monkeys that are
Mm-hmm.
gonna make some money and maybe survive, but because we just take art too seriously that we want to do it all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm getting really off track, but
No, it's great.
I think these misconceptions are mind-blowing. Because people know that it's not like the 60s. They do know, but they don't know the extent of the larger bands that are bigger than us, even that we're even supporting. They're not making very much money. Their overhead's crazy.
The Rolling Stones' overhead is crazy.
Yeah.
Like they're walking away with very little because same reasons everyone else is.
These venues are taking as much as they can. Like if you don't have somebody around you, like a manager, whatever that means, that's going to take a percentage of all your money or some of your money, their job is now to make sure the venue doesn't take too much from you because they're going to try to inflate these costs and say like $100 for hospitality when you got like a bag of chips, or like
Right.
you get, we've got to pay $500 for lighting. It's just not true.
Yeah.
And then they cut your merch, which is insane because they're not selling it. They're not doing anything but giving you maybe a fold out table.
An extra table, yeah.
And they take up to 30% of your only livelihood because support bands make a set amount every night and it's very low. Very low. And then you just survive off of t-shirts. So then they're just taking that. And the reason why that's such a big deal and people don't understand is because they don't know how small our income is from just the guarantee of the night.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like nobody, like that, it's not the headliner being a dick and not paying you out.
Yeah.
It's it's the venue, man. It's the venue. It's everything getting gentrified, of course, but Live Nation is gonna make it a lot worse, a lot faster.
And what's the lowest your band took for a support tour per night, if you remember?
Ever?
Yeah. Or
I
just
think,
one that would be surprising to people.
I mean, 250.
Well, when you open for the Meat Bodies, yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't give you guys a lot of money at all.
You guys didn't have a lot of money to give.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot
You
going
didn't get
Well,
any.
that's the problem. Is that
So
that was probably on the low end.
250. My memory is really bad too. So it's like the Meat Bodies tour was like when the light came on and my memory started like rolling. There's so many years before that
Sure.
I can't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
We've been so lucky on some of the tours that we've gotten. And like, granted, we've always gotten tours with bands that are good and like cool to us. And so then the people attend and the people have fun and then they buy your t-shirts.
Mhm.
And so you're
But,
chilling.
but yeah, just for reference, 250 is a tank of gas, basically.
Right. 250 is a tank. It wouldn't be able to get you a day of a hotel, like one hotel where we book a hotel that's just for two people because it's the cheapest hotel out of Hotel 6, and then we sneak the rest in. And
Nice.
or we try to stay with
Have a
friends.
friend, yeah.
But it wouldn't get us one of those hotels and it wouldn't get us a whole day of gas. So you literally can't do it without merch. You just
Mhm.
can't. So this in perspective, people don't really understand how much this touring thing could just go away
Yeah.
if the venues can just do whatever the fuck they want with your money.
Yeah, because we're not just talking about expenses. Like after all of that, after all the expenses, we look at our finances and we go, well, how do we all feel? What do we want to take? You know, and it's like if there's really
How
nothing
much
left,
can we afford to pay
how much can we
ourselves?
afford to pay ourselves? Yeah, after and because we're also doing all of the recording, the production, you know, merch.
Right, we're independent, so we are saving for albums and
Yeah, and so that doesn't even come close. Like if that's your bottom guarantee, you know, or
yeah.
Mhm.
so we look at those as like a complete loss of a day, basically.
Oh.
Just for reference for people who maybe see that as like, well, you got 250, so you keep going, you know, and maybe
Yeah.
the next
Right.
one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like it's like negative money. Like even 500 is like that's really 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 hard for a band to make work, and
Yeah.
they're probably, especially I don't know, I feel like there's this weird jump between like doing DIY tours and then jumping to like support tours where like I don't know, I feel like bands that are doing that, it looks like they're doing better, but sometimes they're making like a lot less money somehow
Mm.
because like I don't know if you jump on the opening tours, sometimes your drives are a lot longer, or like you're saying you're playing those venues that are taking the merch cuts, or like you might be opening for a band where the audience doesn't understand you through halfway through. So then like, I don't know, you might not sell as much merch as if you're just doing like some headline DIY tour and like people are looking and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky you're in this spot. And all these bands just want to be in that like opening slot spot. But it's kind of like you're transformed into this like bottom of the barrel position, but people think you're like killing it and that you're
Right.
rich, but you're like, actually, no, our band's making like a lot less money somehow, or your expenses just go up, or you have to kind of look like professional compared to these bigger bands that you're opening for who have their own sound person, their own light person, like, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah. It's so true, dude.
Because a lot of the time they're chilling, they're on the bus, they wake up in the town that they're playing in, and then they mill about while their production people set up their amps and their dummy amps, you know, and then all of their wall of Bensons. I'm not gonna say any names, but then they, leisurely walk into sound check, and then they clearly play past their time, and now it's our time. And we just 2 days ago got off a show in Bellingham, Washington, with this band, and now we're in Memphis,
Oh my gosh,
and we're like
yeah.
sweaty, just drenched, sticky,
Dude.
pulling our shit out of the fucking van that we loaded like really late at night, drove straight through 2 nights, like 23 hours.
Hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, you may
This
as well.
year.
You're gonna be killing something that night.
Yeah. This year has been like a lot of like, okay, I'm never like that is a story and that is something I will always remember. But I will never do that again. That was so unsafe. And like the
Yeah,
things that the bookers will try to get you to do, knowing because we don't have a driver, it's so unsafe. It's 2 days of like nonstop driving. You don't sleep for like you could like, over 24 hours, and you just have to do overnight drives to make these tours work. And overnight drives are so unsafe.
Hmm.
And really bad for your mental health too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost weeks of my life.
Yeah.
Those 2 days.
Yeah. You're exhausted for so long.
Yeah.
And it is sketchy. Like in my experience, having like a moment where I'm driving the van and it's like 3 a.m. or something and it's really late and I can't, and you don't really know these, obviously you don't know these areas. So like when we were driving to Memphis, I think it was.
No,
No, it was
we were
Missoula.
driving to Las Cruces when the lady at the venue was just like, please don't go.
That was the one where
Like,
she
I'm
was,
begging you.
please don't go.
People every day, there's
Yeah.
another wreck.
Because
There's
it's a
another,
scary road.
and so
We
when
had
someone's
to.
begging you and you're just still like,
We'll get dropped from the tour. Like we can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're like, thank you for your concern. Anyone with a brain cell would agree with you.
Don't share one.
But we're
We
good.
have to play.
Yeah. And I'm driving and it's just this like long, dark road forever with this long grass and a deer could just come out at any time. And I'm exhausted and my paranoia is up like to 120. And all my bandmates were trying to sleep to do the next shift. And I'm so scared. Like, genuinely, I shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing this. It's just a moment where you're like, this is not good. And we should definitely rethink things next time. Yeah, that happens
Yeah.
often. You don't know what you're getting yourself into when you sign up for these tours. You don't know what those roads are
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Are
know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's so true. It's like, yeah, definitely been in a few of those at least this year. Just those moments, like even when we were in Europe, our driver one night we were driving like overnight for some stupid reason, and he always like jams on the steering wheel constantly,
Oh,
and
okay,
yeah, he's just drumming. And then
yeah.
this one night he was so tired and I was in the front seat and like the drumming just started like going slower, a
It
little
stopped.
slower. And then, he stopped, which like he never stops. And I was like, this is very unsafe. And I'm like, Alex, and I like open the windows. I'm like sitting there like getting freezing air like in the car.
Yeah.
And he's just like like
Oh,
so unsafe. But yeah, and every time, like the next day, it's like, wow, that was so unsafe. Like we should never do that again. And then the next tour comes in, and you're
when
like,
you do it.
sounds good
No.
for
And
some
yeah.
stupid reason.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well,
What is it?
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Why?
like looking at the routing, being like, well, if we drive 3 hours after the show and have a nap there, it's not
Right,
no
that's what we
problem
do. Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yep.
And no,
You
I
get out
think
of the show at like 2. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
I
because
know.
I don't know, it's what you're given. Like a lot of
Mhm.
what we do is just make do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to point the finger anywhere but right here.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask because I know you're saying like the 250 is like not even like a gas tank or whatever, a hotel. And some tours you've gotten lucky with it, but like how do you all survive financially? Like do you just live off music and whatever you can get, or you have, I think Katie, you're like a tattoo artist too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. Like I had a job as like you quit your job and you're like, oh, like I might not ever need a job again. Maybe this is the time. And then you just don't get a tour for a couple months and then you need to figure out more money. So I do tattoos, which is I would do it for free. I love doing it. And then I do like design commission work for bands. So I'll do like merch or art, album art, or whatever people want. So I've been okay for a minute doing that. And then
Yeah.
you
And then me.
did animation.
Right, yeah. So I'll work on videos and whatever. I have a long history of video editing and filmography, and yeah, hand-drawn animation is tough, but I like it. So, if people want it, I do it. Even though, yeah, the work is really hard. And yeah, so we're all like kind of gigging, it seems like,
Yeah.
to like not have to have a lot of the time it's just hard to find a job where they'll like take you back
Right.
on your knees, after the summer's gone and your salad days are over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it feels every year.
So yeah, like Leo, I know drives, like does like delivery Uber stuff.
Yeah, a
And
lot of musicians have been doing that.
yeah, have just been trying to make rent that way, or supplement, what they have from tour. I've been pretty lucky and just been able to get away with little gig stuff like you're doing, like just commission work.
Yeah.
Mike, our drummer, just goes and drums more, just finds
Cool.
other gigs and other tours. And
Yeah,
good drummers are always, I feel like they're,
sought after.
yeah, prized possessions.
It's all about the drummers, Mom.
Yeah.
It's all about them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, weird breed,
Exactly.
It takes a specific person, and they only come around every so often.
Yeah, you got to be all right with just like being the weirdo in the band in the back who's just kind of like, hey, you're like, yeah, it's a funny spot, but it's really fun because I do both. I do drumming and then I'll be up front with the guitar, and it's like, I don't know, it's honestly my life has changed so much since doing like way more drumming. It's like such a different way of approaching being in a band and playing music. It's like amazing.
Were
So
you a
crazy.
guitar player first? What was your first one?
Technically, I learned drums first when I was like a little kid. And then I got obsessed with the guitar. And then for some reason, Gustav called me and they were like, we need an emergency drummer. And I was like, I'm not even known for that. But like, Rom, the guitar player, saw me play drums once, like 10 years before that, and was like, Mel can do it. And Mel's
Nice.
crazy enough to go on a tour in a week. So,
Oh my God, in a week?
yeah.
One of those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of those.
cool.
Yeah. But that's cool that you're all just making it work. Casey, can you do your stuff on the road too? Or is it like impossible to do your hand-drawn animation stuff in a van?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure it out, but yeah, it's not. I just turn down people usually when
Mhm.
I can't do it, or I'll like tell them hit me back in December when we're all desperate, and
Yeah.
something will happen, something will come up. But it's really hard to like. I have my like whole setup, and it couldn't be done in a van, that's for sure. And I'm not working after I play. I'm go right to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how tired you could be from just like sitting in a van for like 8 hours, but then you play, but it's just like you feel like you could get so much done during that time, and then it's like, nope.
Yeah, I get it out usually painting. We like paint vinyl in the
Yeah.
van, which makes for like really funny, messy projects that you just kind of have to be really zen about it, and right. Not
I
get
don't know
mad
what
at the
that
road for being the road.
I get bummed out by the road.
Aw.
I
There's
didn't mean
one
nothing by
big
that.
bump and you're like almost done. And it's just over.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But whatever. It's fun. It's better than being on your phone for like 10 hours a day.
I know.
Yeah, I think that was a find of mine, that I like needed to figure out what to do during all of my downtime, and only one person can drive, obviously,
And
it's Leo.
they have like, they would be a truck driver if they weren't a guitar player for sure. They know that. They have to, if they don't drive, they kind of go absolutely insane. They just can't be still. And they are like ham boning and they just lose their mind.
Well, they'll even put on like truck driver, like driving from East Coast to West Coast in one take, like
they watch it on
videos.
TV.
Yeah, while they're just
the POV driving.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
On just an ugly US highway.
Like while driving, they have like,
like
I'm driving.
Simulation.
Oh my
Take me
gosh.
to Milwaukee.
But I always joke that musicians are secretly just like professional drivers. It's what we do most, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you travel more than anything else, you know?
Yeah.
We deliver.
It's so true. It's so true.
But for
Yeah.
the rest of us, we have to like figure out how to, like, I had to learn how to read on the road. I knew how to read before. I had to like figure out how to do it because I get so motion sick when I'm reading. So I figured out like my method is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I put a hat like this, like horse blinders, and then like
Yeah.
yeah, it like works for me. And I finally figured that out just a couple years ago, and now I'm getting so much reading done while I'm
Oh, that's great.
in there. And then Mike obviously sleeps
Yeah, Mike sleeps.
and like holds the walls,
Yeah.
make sure that the
Mhm.
van doesn't collapse in on itself. So
Yeah, he gets paranoid on the
that's
road.
really sweet of him to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're always working.
I am literally, yeah, it's a problem. I'm
And
on or
everything
off
else.
tour. I have a
Working on like on spoonbender stuff or just
whatever.
working. Yeah.
Like I need to stop, like figure out how to stop like being so on all the time. But yeah, usually if I'm in the van, I'm working on like commissions and then 5 other things all at once, and then I'll do some painting. But downtime is not something that I know how to do yet. Trying.
Gotta
Trying.
learn. Gotta learn how to read.
Gotta. Yeah.
Um, do you all have a manager? Or do you manage yourselves?
I don't know. We have a friend
Okay.
who
He's managing us. Yes.
yeah,
It's kind of hard to tell because yeah, you've been so hands-on.
yeah, what can you manage? Like, I think we manage ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think like he is like our manager is great for somebody if you're like, I don't know how to read this contract
Mhm.
or some other thing.
Or like fielding opportunities, like trying to figure out what the next 3 steps are for you, or like finding like I don't know, like maybe spoonbenders can be part of a comedy thing. You guys are all funny people or something. I don't know.
He just
Mhm.
told us to go on TikTok, and I won't.
And we say no.
You know what? That's like the manager's number one advice.
Isn't it going away?
It is, but I do have to admit that like just last month I was like, it's gonna disappear anyway. Let me just post a couple things. And then all of a sudden it's like you actually do find people that would like never find you ever. So I'm like, all right, I get it now. But it like does it once and then you do it again, you're like, oh, it's gonna work this time. It like hooks you, you know, because
Yeah,
it's
it's a
like,
carrot.
Yes.
mhm,
That's it. A lot of this
yeah,
stuff, the algorithmic stuff is just carrot and I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah, I
Just
know.
keep touring, man. Just keep playing shows. That's how
Yeah.
I feel about it.
I think, yeah, just keep making stuff, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think keep touring. And then the last year, because it was so crazy, we didn't make this other thing about touring that's so weird is that you're playing all the time. And especially if it's these DIY shows where you don't get sound checks or you don't get these like times to jam ever. Um, you aren't writing music and you're just a jukebox for things that you made 3 years ago. And it's like you're just copy pasting something every night. And so it's actually a lot of the time when I'm on tour, I can't wait to go home so that I can go be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel like I haven't been creative in a month or 2 months. So we want to do a lot more creative writing and putting out more music than just like touring all the time. So that's what we're gonna try to do this year. And just
Cool.
have like a couple European tours so far, but not really like one US and 2 Europeans and nothing else right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna see, and also we're not on like a booking agency right now. So we're just also you just wait to see what comes up around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we are like we have somebody that's kind of managing us, but I think like with the band, I think we're always going to want to be really DIY in the sense of everyone's just got their hands or their eyes on everything. Everyone can see the band fund and everyone makes decisions and like voting or whatever. Everyone knows, we make the decisions on the merch, and all the other decisions. It's just hard to think about making these like overnight drives and these long tours and these sacrifices all the time for a band that you don't feel like you own fully.
Mhm.
So all of the members, I think, need to like really feel like we own this thing and it's ours. It's not some suit dude who's fucking telling us what's up.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, I think we're just gonna feel like we are working a regular job, which is
Again, it's the opposite of the point,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
We're doing this
exactly.
because we don't want to work.
We don't want to work for the suits.
I want to play.
Yeah,
I just want to play.
I
just
want to
want to
play.
play.
They don't call
Yeah.
it. We're not working the gig. We're playing the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You should or have you ever tried doing like you play the song but then you're like, all right, and then for 5 minutes we just make stuff up on stage, like in front of people. Have you ever tried that?
Ooh, no. Good
I feel like
idea.
that's a good way to like I feel like that feeling of like needing to be creative, I feel like you can what's the word? Like you can fulfill it like with little tiny short bursts sometimes, while on tour. Be like,
Hmm.
oh, I came up with this millisecond idea for an intro, and then you play it, and then all of a sudden your whole set feels awesome again because you added like
Yeah.
5 new notes to the beginning of a song or something, you
Yeah.
know? I'm
Yeah, dude.
just
The
just thinking.
yeah, along those lines, I was always a huge like, well, at least in the bands I was in previously, I'm kind of, slowly trying to introduce these ideas to spoon benders. But like with other bands I was in, I would always be the guy who was like, all right, so what if,
Yeah.
this part of the song,
Idea man.
we've always played it this way. What if we just jammed?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then suddenly we're all like improvising and it feels good, and then we try it again and it feels really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
but
Yeah.
but with like certain projects you can do that throughout the whole show. You can just like, if everybody's down to be like really uncomfortable
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and like vulnerable on stage and everybody's like pretty decent at what they do, we can like kind of, yeah, you can get out your jollies.
Yeah.
But it also kind of, it fulfills the purpose of writing too, because then you walk away with like, damn, that was a cool idea, maybe we should, you know
Yeah.
put it into a record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm totally 100% with that idea. It's like,
Yeah.
just keep throwing curveballs while you're working,
Yeah.
keep
Because I
creating.
know when you're doing the like 30-minute or 27-minute opening set, it's like really hard to think to even like change anything because you just have this little tiny bit of time and you're like, I just want to throw my best out there. But
Yeah.
just for like your own personal sanity, because I know like my first tour I did when I was like 20, I hated tour because I was like, this sucks. I can't play.
Mhm.
I'm like not playing my instrument. Like this is the
Yeah.
worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
it's gotten I've started to really love it. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking that'd be sick.
That is
Spoonbender's
a good idea, dude.
extended guitar solo. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outros.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at like older bands, the way that they made it work, because they're just, we're just like you were saying, jukeboxes.
Yeah.
And so the way they would make it work is like these songs would kind of slowly evolve into things as long as the members stayed pretty much the same.
Mhm.
You can have like this kind of collective memory of how the songs were performed and then how they've grown. And yeah, it's like suddenly they are medleys of songs that were originally like 3 minutes and now it's like 49
Yeah.
minutes of just fucking around and everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
music's so different now. My mom is always like, I hate that you show up, you drive so many hours and you only get 30 minutes to play. And you're like, I know, it's crazy. You drive 9 hours to play for 30 minutes. Like, what?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it
It's
used to be you drive 9 minutes to play for 30 hours.
yeah.
You know, like
They hire you for the whole night.
back when my mom was playing like gigs in LA, it was like she would go down the street with her guitar and her band, and they would just play all day and all night. She'd come back smelling, reeking of cigarettes and booze,
Yeah.
and kiss me on the forehead, you know.
That's a nice
Yeah, I kind
memory.
of that's what I was saying about the bar band thing is like I kind of just want to go back there. I don't want to play venues anymore. I don't want to play these like Live Nation
Yeah.
sterile, weird. Ugh.
Forever 21 for music.
I just want to like make old people uncomfortable
Yeah.
with this new stuff they're hearing.
Yeah.
You know? Like I want that.
I feel like for the most part, we're like reminding people that are so much older than us of
Right.
their childhood that we
Okay.
did not live through,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is
which
kind of the
is so
opposite.
funny.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I don't know. I wish that we could go into larger venues and still like preserve into like the intimacy and a kind of pulse. The venue should have some kind of way of conveying the city that it's in,
Mm.
like having any kind of like vibe of that city. They don't care about that. And I also wish that it wasn't all about alcohol all the time. Like I wish it wasn't like on the smaller scale of venues, I wish we weren't always in bars.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens to have a stage in the bar and it's just an alcohol place where everyone's super fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the other thing. That's
The dogs
doesn't people bringing dogs into venues?
into the bars.
Into
Yeah.
bars, into loud bars. Yeah, dude.
That's-
Oh,
That's been a thing lately. It's like yelling at a lady for bringing her little French bulldog into a sound check.
yeah,
Oh,
there's a
I
lot of
know.
people that do that, like bring dogs that are like, oh, they're bar dogs, they're cool, like well, they're great, they love people, but
They
we're
love this. His name's
playing.
Max.
Yeah,
Hi, Max. Hi, Max.
yeah,
It's like he
yeah,
can't hear it.
yeah.
Oh,
You've abused your dog
Yeah.
to becoming deaf. Like, fuck. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't think it's normal. I don't care about Sublime. Like, I don't think they're like, well, these people have their Dalmatians and it's great. It's like so stupid. I get really defensive about like the festival thing too, like this bringing your dogs around like
Yeah.
super loud stages. They can't tell you that they don't like it, but
no.
science can.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my rant. I'm done now.
I like it. No, I played a show and it was supposed to be outside, but then it got moved inside in this tiny little bar in Brooklyn, and it was one of the other members, the other band. It was one of their members' dogs, and he like tied the dog up in the back of this like basement room, basically. And throughout their whole show, the dog was just like screaming basically, and I was like so upset. But the dog was also, I like tried to go up to the dog and help it, but it like was mad at me and like didn't want me
Yeah,
to come close. So I was
yeah.
like so upset during their whole set. I was like, this dog is just screaming in the other room.
So selfish,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. And they were like, oh, he just misses his owner, and I was like,
No, no
no,
shit.
yeah, no, this is just way too loud. But did you see Jack White is starting to, he like did this whole last minute tour where he would just show up at bars and just play and be like a bar band.
Oh no.
No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Like a month ago, it would just be like Jack White showed up in like a random bar in Oklahoma, and like his band sounded sick. It's really cool to see a band that like usually probably has like a million people doing the sound checks or whatever. And
Yeah.
it sounded super cool. And I think he just wanted to have that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I just saw it on like Instagram or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah. No, that is cool. That
Bring
is,
back bar bands.
yeah.
yeah. We'll start the
Seriously.
petition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on. That'll
Yeah.
take out Live Nation. Unless they start to own every watering hole
Oh my God, they so would.
in the state.
Yeah, they would.
There's
Yeah.
too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do your ZZ Top thing though. I think cover bands are
I
they
haven't seen it yet. I need him to do the
Yeah, you
3Z.
somehow missed every
I
show.
never caught a 3Z. It's
Yeah.
absolutely upsetting. I
uh,
really, 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 really wanted to see it. But I've watched the YouTube a lot.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I got haunted in the last 3Z show. I don't, yeah, that was like our cutoff point, was like we were playing Austin and we'd never done ZZ Top in Texas where they're from.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So because we would do this, we would jump out into the audience and like have this whole crazy interaction with and my pickup in the P bass pickup in the bass just went out of here. Goodbye. It just hit.
What?
Yeah. And I had to like, I don't know, I just took it upstairs and was like, wow, it just didn't want to be in here anymore. So I think I got haunted and by the ghost of Dusty. So yeah, I don't unfortunately don't think it's in the cards, but yeah, I'd love to start doing cover sets religiously. Like just pick a band and
should just do that. I think Portland would be super down for that shit. It's not just a Halloween thing.
It's not just a Halloween thing.
No.
It's not just a Grateful Dead thing.
Oh,
Make all the money that way too. And you could book out all the local bars for like the next 2 years because that's what all the local cover bands in my area, that's what they do. They just book until 2026 and then you can't get a show.
Oh my God.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, they're booking her like years out for like these cover bands, and it drives me insane because I'm like, I can't book in 6 months.
Oh my God.
Because of that. Because it's like, no, this random cover band booked like half the year. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they do well at the bars. The people
They
go
do well, yeah.
shows?
Yeah, I think cover bands make more money than non-cover bands, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of time. Yeah. But what are we doing?
Yeah, we're absolutely doing the wrong thing. Damn. All right.
You're trying to write music.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Fools.
Ooh.
Trying to be artistic.
Already been written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I love what you're doing, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. It was really fun. And
Yeah.
this podcast is basically an excuse just for me to get to know people that I like better. So
That's a good idea. It's so cool that you asked us. I mean, I miss you, so this is very helpful. And we
Yeah.
it's cool that we got to see each other in Edmonton for like 5 minutes because we're kind of, I don't think like often enough we're on the same bills of a big festival or like different days or our tour routing. Like I kind of see I'm just missing you all the time.
I know, same. And every time you come to Brooklyn, it's like I'm always gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Every single time.
yeah. But
yeah, it's sad, but at least I get to see you this way.
all right, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode, and tune in next week for another one. All right, bye bye.